How you doing, guys? Welcome back to the Poise Showcase series, and today we're going to be taking a look at Smough's Greathammer. Now, as I mentioned in my Poise Compendium video, thanks to Buff the Fug's data that was released on Reddit a few months ago, there are a few weapons in the Greathammer and Ultra Greatsword class that have altered Poise health and Poise breakpoint modifiers. So I've made min-max Poise videos for the Fume Ultra Greatsword, Lito's Greathammer and the Morn's Greathammer, so check out my channel if you want to check those weapons out with min-max Poise builds. And Smough's Greathammer here is the last Greathammer in its class that has altered Poise health and Poise breakpoint modifiers, so I will be exploring a min-max Poise build with it here today. Now, the last weapon I need to cover that falls in these categories, or this category I should say, is the Ring Knight paired Greatswords, and I'll get onto that in a future video. So what does this essentially mean? It means that you can min-max your armor poise, which means you need a little bit less poise to hit that ceiling breakpoint to effectively infinitely hyper armor trade against every two-handed R1 in the game from every weapon class. But I'll explain that in a minute. Let's go straight into the build here first, guys. I'm at soul level 125, and as you can see, those are my stats there. Using the Prisoner's Chain as per usual, we're at 40 Vigor, 10 Attunement, 37 Endurance, 46 Vitality, 50 Strength, 12 Dexterity, 9 Intelligence, 18 Faith, and 7 Luck. Now, Smough's Greathammer two-handed at +5 cannot be infused or buffed, but at 50 strength we're getting 633 AR, which isn't too bad there, guys. Obviously it doesn't hit as hard as other Greathammers that I've covered in my series, but you're still going to be benefiting from that awesome Greathammer hyper armor. So there is that there, guys. So you're going to be baiting out those trades and getting those big hits there anyway. And one-handed here, guys, at 50 strength we're still breaking the 600 AR mark at 606 AR, so it's still not too shabby. Now, going over to my equipment page here, guys, Smough's Greathammer +5 gets a B scaling in strength. In my left hand, I have a Blessed Cestus +10 as a parrying tool, and also for that passive HP regen. I've got an Arbalest +10 in the second left-hand slot with explosive bolts, and in the third left-hand slot, I have a Dark Longsword +10, which is going to act as our offhand fast weapon to help us deal with unfavorable matchups, to help us finish people off, and it's also Dark infused there, so it can help us chip through those shield setups a little bit there as well. Now, in my second right-hand slot, I have the Sacred Chime of Filianor, and that's why I have 18 Faith in this particular setup, essentially because I want to be opening a match here with Filianor's Sacred Chime, casting Replenishment for 5 HP regen per tick for 60 seconds, and if I have the time there, I'm also going to follow that up with the Weapon Art, Pray for Favor, which gives us a total of 8 HP regen per tick, and that also stacks with the Blessed Cestus for a total of 10 HP regen per tick for at least 60 seconds of the match. Now, as I've explained previously, the Pray for Favorability for the Sacred Chime actually works when the Chime isn't equipped in that slot. So essentially you can cast the Weapon Art and switch over to the Greathammer, and you're still going to be benefiting from the Weapon Art, Replenishment, and the Blessed Cestus working together for at least those 60 seconds of the match there, guys. Now, back over to my equipment page. In terms of armor, I have the Executioner's Helm, Gundy's Armor, the Ring Knight Gauntlets, and Gundy's Leggings for a total armor poise of 42.21. Now, normally with Greathammers, once you're above 45.85, that's your ceiling breakpoint, which will allow you to infinitely hyper armor trade against every two-handed R1 in the game. But because Smough's Greathammer here is special, you only need 42.16 armor poise to hit that ceiling cap. So this is the same as for Lito's Greathammer and Morn's Greathammer. So once you're above 42.16, you are hitting that ceiling breakpoint, and you're going to be infinitely tanking against every two-handed R1 in the game from every weapon class, including other Greathammers, when you are maining the Smough's Greathammer. So what does this mean? This means that we don't need to wear Havels here, which means we can invest a little bit less in Vitality and put those points elsewhere. So as you can see here, I've got a lot of Vigor and a lot of Endurance on this particular setup. And also because this particular armor combination here is a little bit lighter than Havel's, we can also fit all these different options here in our slots for a lot more versatility than you normally would have if this was a regular Greathammer. So there are those advantages there, guys. Now, in terms of rings, it's the standard setup for my Poise builds: the Chloranthy Ring +3, the Prisoner's Chain, the Havel's Ring +3, and the Ring of Favor +3. So this is our min-maxed Poise build using Smough's Greathammer. Let's go take this beast into the arena. Alrighty, guys, here we go. So it looks like we have Freed's Great Scythe over there. R2 bait into the double R1. So he's probably going to go for that weapon art. I just really want him to do it. Because it's no dramas for our Poise there, guys. GG. Alrighty, guys. Next up in the arena. Looks like we have a Zweihander. Little bit of lag. Whoop. Little bit. Maybe a lot of lag. Still though, it wouldn't be Dark Souls without the lag, right? Whoop. Delayed R1s after a roll. Confuses those parry kings. GG. Alrighty guys, next match. Alright, so it looks like we have the crucifix of the Mad King. With some lightning arrows thrown in there for good measure. Now, I don't fancy getting hit by that damn weapon when it's buffed because it hits like a goddamn truck. Let's see if we can go for a bait here. Nope. There we go. Perfect R1. Oh, sorry, R2 into R1 bait. Gotta love pulling that off. So he's got the perseverance part of that weapon art available, so obviously he's going to go for trades there. And GG. Alrighty guys, straight on to the next match. So it looks like we have a straight sword and board here. Whoop. Bang, nice big hits. Whoop. Whoop. GG. Alrighty guys, straight on to the next match. Looks like we have the split leaf greatsword over there. Split leaf! Buffed with the blessed weapon. Probably hoping to get in that R1 into true combo. Does it still true combo? I'm not too sure actually. Maybe. Bang. I wonder if he'll go for a rebuff. Nope. GG. Alrighty guys, next match. Looks like we have a straight sword and cestus over here. Love the big hits. Whoop. I was trying to use the perseverance there in conjunction with my straight sword. But obviously I was a little bit slow with the output. But you know what? Let's give it another try. I mean, why not? There we go. GG. Alrighty guys, next up in the arena. So we're going to use our crossbow to full advantage here against this mage. Whoop, bit of latency there. Nope, no crystal soul spheres. Whoop. Whoop. Gotta love that that R2 peg, guys. GG. Alrighty guys, on to the next match. So look like we have the immolation tinder over there. So we can expect, whoop, some spells. Ouch. Uh-oh, we're frostbitten. Not that that really means much. GG. Alrighty guys, let's go for one last match here today. So what do we got? We got a greatsword, ultra greatsword. Looks like the Zweihander. Whoop. GG. Alrighty guys, so that brings us to the end of this particular video, taking a look at Smough's Greathammer on a min-maxed heavy poise build, and I hope you enjoyed this one guys because it was a lot of fun to make. So let's just go over some quick pros and cons here. Some pros, because you are maining a heavy poise build, you're using a Greathammer, so you're going to be benefiting from a lot of hyper armor, and because Smough's Greathammer has those altered poise health and poise breakpoint modifiers, you can min-max your poise to hit that ceiling breakpoint and effectively infinitely hyper armor trade against every two-handed R1 in the game, while being able to shift points out of vitality into other stats. And also because you're not using Havel's armor and can use an armor combination that's a little bit lighter, you can fit a lot of versatility into your weapon slots to complement your build. Now also guys, you do have the Perseverance weapon art. Now obviously because we are min-max with our poise, we're not going to be using it that often, but I can think of situations where you're dealing with heavy weapons that have weapon arts that have a lot of hyper armor. So for example, the Ring Knight paired Greatsword's weapon art, and you will be using Perseverance to tank through that, because that damn weapon art has so much hyper armor guys that even though we are poise optimized here at our ceiling breakpoint, you're better off using Perseverance if you want to tank that. So that's an instance where you can still use it to your advantage. Now on top of that there guys, you do have the R2 into the R1 bait that is so effective with the Greathammer class. A lot of people still fall for it even this late in the game's life cycle, so use that to its full advantage. And now in terms of weaknesses or cons guys, you are using a Greathammer, so it is quite slow and predictable, and it is no match for the reactive playstyle of the meta builds. So essentially you'll be no match for a good player that's using a straight sword and a shield, or a curved sword for example. That reactive playstyle is very effective at hitting you outside of active frames, even if you're quite good at baiting out those trades. And because Smough's Greathammer cannot be infused or buffed, you're going to have nothing to chip through those shields either, so that's why I'm carrying an offhand dark longsword to help us out there with a little bit of chip damage, but otherwise it's quite weak to those particular meta setups. On top of that, it is quite stamina intensive, of course, because it is a Greathammer, so you're going to have to learn to stamina manage effectively and also have a lot of stamina in the first place, so there is that as well there guys. Now one last thing before I go, I'll just mention guys that I found a pretty awesome community of PvPers or PvP players that love dueling on a Discord server. I've included a link below in the description section for the Discord server. Essentially it's a community of Dark Souls PvPers from the PS4, Xbox One and PC platforms that have come together. They're an awesome bunch of dudes. They have a lot of useful information in terms of build tips, setups and general tips and tricks when it comes to PvP or dueling. It's also pretty cool to get into fight clubs with these guys. They host fight clubs regularly, and they also participate in tournaments as well. And you know, they're a nice bunch of dudes, and they come from all the platforms, so you really have a pretty cool PvP community there that I wasn't aware of until just recently. So I have included the link to the Discord in the description if you're interested there guys. Check them out because it's pretty cool there guys. Now that's about it for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're enjoying my content, please subscribe. And as always guys, thank you for watching.